Can you all see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So please write down today's heading as antenna field zones. Antenna field zones. These comes as a short notes question. So these are all very small topics which I believe will end up coming sometimes. Screen is clear, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is your length of the antenna. I just drawn one simple antenna here for your understanding. Please draw a larger circle around this antenna region. I'm not exactly able to draw a circle, so this is more or less a circle. This goes to infinity. This is your far field. This is your antenna region. This is known as your near field. All of you able to see the diagram?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Bina, are you back? In between, you had left the meeting.
Yes, sir. Like there was some small net issue. I rejoined as soon as after that, sir.
Yes. No problem. Okay. So that is one diagram one. So these are also available in the notes which have been uploaded, okay, for module 3. So you can again see that myself and Venkatesh had prepared that last year. So these are also there anyway. For the sake of doing, I'm doing. So I won't dictate you all this because these notes are already there. I'll explain you what it is so that we can go forward without wasting time. Are of you able to see this diagram?
Yes, sir.
Ah, very good. Okay. Now, suppose this is your antenna, you have something known as your near field region. So this is your what is known as your far field region. Now, 1 minute. Okay. This area from here to here, what I am representing, this is your far field region. This area, what I am talking about, this is your far field region, and this area, what I am talking here, this area, what I am talking here, this is your near field region. Are you able to make out?
Yes, sir.
Ah, okay.
So,
Now, what is the significance of this near field region and far field region is the following. What it basically tells is if you have an antenna very near to the antenna, you will have what is known as an oscillating field. That means your signal will go up and down, it won't go to the radial direction. Once you go away from this near field region, in this region, this far field region, that is after the boundary of your near field region where you are going to the far field region, all your signals will radiate out. So this is your radial component of the radiated power that will go in a radial mode outward. Whereas in your near field region, as you can see, these fields will be known as oscillating field. Oscillating field. So the fields will start oscillating. What it means to tell is, if you are very close to the antenna, you can't receive any signal, or of the signals will be oscillating in type, and you really cannot get the signal. Once you go away from this near field region to the far field region, after this boundary between the near field region and the far field region, these this radiation from the antenna will start radiating out, and basically if you keep a receiving station, so it's suppose this is your transmitting antenna, your receiving antenna should be in the far field region, it cannot be in the near field region. Your receiving antenna should always be in your far field region, because you can't receive any signals, it will keep going up and down. It will have an oscillating field. You got my point, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this near field region, okay, is also known as Fresnel zone. Fresnel zone. Sorry. Fresnel zone. This is known as your Fresnel zone. Your far field is known as Fraunhofer zone. Fraunhofer. Far field is known as Fraunhofer zone. So this comes as a short note question. Next point is, the boundary between the two regions may be taken as R is equal to 2L square by lambda, where L is the maximum dimension of antenna in meters. and wavelength, this is wavelength of the antenna. So your this R is determined by your length of the antenna. So larger is the length, larger will be your distance R. You got my point, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is the significance of your near field or far field? Is your receiving antenna should always be in the far field region, not in the near field region. Do you know the reason why?
Because in the near field region, the waves are oscillatory and hence receiving antenna cannot receive.
Yes, receiving antenna cannot receive. So, suppose you have a tower on top of your house, go on top of the tower and sit with the tower and try to call. You can't call anyone. Okay, you can do this experiment at your own risk. I'm just joking. So, suppose you have a tower, antenna tower, you go very near it so that you are in the near field region of that antenna tower. You try to call anyone, you can't call. Neither you can receive any signal, the disturbance will be too much. And whenever you have these kind of oscillating fields, these fields will directly go in your inner ear and into your brain, and it can cause serious medical disorders such as your tumors in human body. This is the negative effect when you are having this oscillating field. When you are having this radial component, what happens is, from our biomedical point of view, this will not be observed in the human body as much as your near field. Now, what happens is, you have any questions so far? Anything you want to discuss? Say, I need two-way communication, not one-way communication.
Like few people who will be staying in the building on which the antenna is placed, like they have the antenna on the terrace and they'll be staying inside the house. So won't they face any problem when they are communicating over phones?
See, what happens if they are exactly below the antenna, they may be in the borderline between the near field and the far field region, because you have to calculate this length of the antenna, then this one. See, for example, the length of the antenna you need to calculate. So, and the wavelength at which it is transmitting. With that, you will get this R here. So that R value may be few meters, or worst case, it may be 100 meters. So once it is in that region, so if you are underneath the tower, the effect is less. Actually, what will happen is, if you are in the neighboring building, suppose I install a tower on your house. Suppose you stay in some flat or some kind of building. I install a tower on top of your flat. I am in the next flat opposite your flat. For me, signal interference will be too high. Yes, Robert.
Yes, sir.
So anything, anything you want to tell?
No, sir, I got it, sir.
Now, any more doubts? I am getting one doubt. Before I ask my doubt, can anyone ask any more doubts? So if you are too much in this near field region, definitely you will get what is known as a brain tumor. You may get brain aneurysm. You may get a blood clot in the brain. You may get cardiac disorders, so on and so forth. See, I don't want to. It is one horrible example to give, but for your own safety, because we are all educators here, educating. Say, teaching antenna for the syllabus is one point. At least you should take some takeaways from you to your home and try to implement it. See, one of my close relatives, hardly 42 years of age, he was working in Biocon. They had an antenna tower exactly opposite to their house. This continued for 10 years. One day, we had gathered for some get-together for some function, for some birthday celebration of one of the relatives where he had come. He was sitting besides me and eating, talking, suddenly collapsed. When we took the hospital, there was a heavy major brain clot. He was in coma for 10 days and died. His age was 42 with no prior medical problems. This was because of the antenna tower opposite to his house. Okay, this is my personal experience I am sharing with you. Usually I don't share because this is the kind of health hazard these kind of radiation towers are posing to our health. Yes, anyone? Please ask me something, no? Yes, anyone? Saurabh Bhatt, please ask me something. Hello, can you hear me?
Sir,
Yeah.
yes, sir. In the near field zone, the way the waves are oscillate. Like what do they mean by oscillate? So like how
Oscillatory means
exactly?
oscillatory. Now, what do you mean by oscillatory means what I can tell. It will go up and down. Means along the axis of the antenna, it will be going.
How about in the far field, sir?
Far field, it will go in a radial direction to the antenna.
Okay.
So oscillating means it will be going along the axis of the antenna. So your field will be going up and down. It will not be stable at one point.
Okay.
Yes, Beena, anything you want to ask? Mahima?
Sir, like for example, this D2H signal, almost everyone wants to H. So what about that, sir? Does produce any
DTH signal is directly coming from the satellite. The frequency of communication is in such a range that it hardly affects our human body.
Okay,
When
sir,
you
I
are
get
going
it.
for mobile communication, that signal frequency and this one, they are bound to affect the human body. Now, this I am not telling. This is a research done by researchers in IIT Bombay under the leadership of then IIT director. So DTH has been proven to provide no problems to the human being so far because the signal strength what we are getting and the frequency of the transmission is quite safe for human being. The problem is coming with the mobile towers and your own phone. So avoid taking all this cheap Chinese phone. They are right royal health hazards. The more the expensive phone, it doesn't mean they are more healthy. There is a SAR ratio you have to see, a specific absorption rate. How much your human body will absorb radiation with that phone. With that SAR rate, you can determine whether that phone is safe or not. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mahima, anything you want to ask?
No doubt, sir. Like we got to know what are the health hazards caused by the antennas, and so what could be the solution, sir, if you want to avoid as much as
Okay,
possible?
there is in USA, if you go, there are some very strict rules at the frequency at which the antenna can transmit. Okay. There are some radiation limits to which the antennas can operate. The best solution will be solution number 1. You place your antennas far away from cities. Okay, far from cities. Then you have to increase the length of the antenna. Increase the length of the antenna. Then you can place in Nandi Hills. Nandi Hills is again occupied somewhere in Polar, and you can still get signal in Bangalore. So if you increase the length of the antenna, what happens is cost of the equipment increases. If the cost of the equipment increases, what happens is your tariff charges will increase. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
So one call you are paying now 10 paisa, you may have to pay 3 rupees. That is why your telecom companies will take a shortcut in doing things. Okay, next, what you can do is you buy phone with seeing this SAR value, specific absorption rate. See, you can check that SAR value in any of the Google. If you do SAR value of the phone, you will get. specific absorption rate you can check. I already had discussed this. Now, any other doubts? Meenakshi,
Thank you, sir.
Meenakshi DM. Sangeeta.
Yes, sir.
Any doubts? Sangeeta,
No,
no?
doubt, sir. No, sir.
Yes,
Meenakshi,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Sangeeta,
Yes, sir.
any doubts, ma?
No, sir.
Okay. So, can I ask you a question now? What happens if I am in this border here? Whether it be oscillating or radiating? Or I put the question in a straight manner. Have anyone gone to India-Pakistan border? Anyone visited? Tell yes or no, then I can proceed.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
If you see the line of actual control India-Pakistan border or the international border which is there in Punjab, I think Wing Commander Srinivasa Rao will appreciate my point in this. There is a clear demarcated border. You have a heavy high voltage, high fencing.
Yeah.
Fencing on the India-Pakistan border. Say I had gone to this Wagah border. So you have a fence, you have a gate on this side, you have the gate on the other side. In between you have a neutral zone. So you have a very demarcated border between India and Pakistan. Whereas you go to India-China border. Next. You go to Tibet, there is no border. Okay. So India will tell we have border till here, or China will tell we have border till here. So you will have a huge overlapping claims there. So that is why is one of the major reasons for conflict, because the line of actual control, as we call LAC, between India and China is not clearly demarcated. Whereas line of actual control is demarcated with fencing. So now when you don't have a demarcated border, when you have really two major economies competing with each other, so you are bound to have this kind of conflicts, whether today or tomorrow. So both will have their own claims and counterclaims. So from the scientific point of view, so this near boundary which I am telling, this R 2L square by lambda, that will determine your R, is not an India-Pakistan border, but it is an India-China border. Okay, so what will happen is, as you keep on going towards this boundary between the near field and far field, your oscillating fields will become slightly radials. It will also be oscillating. So in this boundary condition, what you are having here is your fields will be neither oscillating purely or neither radiating. So you should go much away from this boundary in your radial direction. As you increase the distance, your radial component will be well defined and you can keep the receiving antenna. Don't design the receiving antenna such that it is in the exact boundary between the near field and the far field. I hope you got the point.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What my example well understood, it was not to highlight the border tensions between India and China, but it was to highlight your near field and far field differentiation.
Dr. Narayan, we have one student here in this thing. He has come with his parent, so I just need to talk to him. If you permit, can I go for some time from the class, and again I'll rejoin back.
No problems. So we'll continue our discussion with the near field and far field. Anyone? Say, I want my healthy discussion to take place.
Excuse me, sir.
Who is this, sir?
Sir, I'm Mahima, sir. Sir,
Yes,
why a line of actual control is not been demarcated, sir,
Tell me.
between India and China from so many years?
Okay, we are slightly going away from the topic of discussion. So why it is not demarcated is, anyway, I'm slightly deviating from the topic here. India and China never had a border. So India and Tibet had a border. and India was ruled by Britishers for so many years. So the demarcation between India and Tibet was done by British way back in 1914. Okay, so then due to some internal problems, then China took over Tibet. That's why Tibetans took refuge in India. That is the history behind it. That's why Dalai Lama came to India. So China became a neighbor of India, which it was not prior to 1950. So what is their contention is what Britishers have done is not correct. So in 1878, there was a boundary claim between Tibet and India at that time. So we have to visit the earlier things and then sort it out. So this is the one of the reasons for why the line of actual control is not really demarcated.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, Saurabh, but any doubts?
Sir.
Okay. Beena, any doubts?
No, sir.
Fine. No one has anything to ask? Yes, Nandana, any doubts? Okay, I'm not able to hear you. Ruchita?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts, ma?
No, sir. Clear.
Okay, there is something known as the effective height of the antenna. Okay, again, this is there in your notes, so you can just go through this. Okay, please write down the effective height of the antenna may be defined as ratio of induced voltage to the incident electric field. That is, your effective height can be defined as voltage by electric field. This is in meters. For varying lengths of the antenna, okay, effective height can be defined as 1 upon I naught integration 0 to HP. That is nothing but your length of the antenna. I of Z dz. This can be written as I average current flowing through the antenna divided by I naught into H of P, where H of P is equal to physical height of the antenna. I average is the average value of the current I naught is equal to maximum value of the current. Okay, in general effective height can be generalized as two times radiation resistance into effective aperture of the antenna divided by Z0. So both this is something like your exact method. This is something like your approximate method. Okay, this is I average. All of you are able to see?
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you please scroll up, sir? Okay.
HP is the physical height of the antenna. So I can also put as LP. So your effective height is not equivalent to the physical height. You have to integrate the entire current. So then only you will get what is known as your effective height. Now this effective height is different from effective aperture. Do not confuse the same. Okay, now your effective height of the antenna depends upon your current density. So I'll give you two examples. Suppose this is your current I of Z. This is in Z direction, so that is why it is called as I of Z. So suppose your length of the antenna is equal to lambda by 2. This your effective height will be 0.64 times the actual height. So your effective height will be 0.64 times the actual physical height of the antenna in this case. So this depends upon this, what is known as your current distribution. Suppose I take another case. You have a triangular current distribution. Triangular current distribution your length is equal to 0.1 times lambda. So your effective height is equal to 0.5 times the physical height of the antenna. So it depends upon how you do the current distribution in the antenna. You got my point?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything you want to ask? Anything you want to ask? Okay, there is one more small topic which is left is power theorem. So I will request you to see the notes. So if you have any problems, then I will do it. So sometimes it is asked. So more or less I have covered everything. So this one is refer notes which I have already uploaded. That is myself and Venkatesh notes. So this is refer notes. So that will be your power theorem. That will end your module 3. If you have nothing to ask, then I can go for the module 4. Anything? Okay. Please, now can we go to module 4 today?
Yes.
Please write down module 4. Point. In this you have point sources. And arrays. That is your first part of your module 4. This is your part 1 of your module 4. Next part is electric dipoles. Okay, these particular two things are quite important and quite lengthy. So this module 4 will take a lot of time for me to do. So I request to have you to have patience, because these things I cannot hurry about. Okay, so this is your two parts of that module. Again, you can see the syllabus under point sources and array. You have introduction, point sources, power patterns, power theorem, radiation intensity, field patterns, phase patterns, array of 2 point sources, so on and so forth. So this is what we will be reading now. Now I'll just write what is a point source. All of you are with me?
Yes, sir.
I'll just write down. Please write along with me. An antenna which does not have any specific shape is called as point source. It is also said to be an isotropic radiator. Okay. Continue. Theoretically, the efficiency of a point source is 100% either as a transmitter or receiver. The idea of a point source is used for describing antenna located at a point from large distance, So this is your point source. This is how your radiation pattern will be, all radial components. This is nothing but a point source So all will be your radial components. I'm not able to draw perfectly, so all will be radiating outside. So this is an example of a point source acting as an isotropic radiator. Got my point? So this is your antenna. Big circle I'll draw. Okay. This is your observation plane. Okay. So this is nothing but your isotropic radiator. Written.
Yes, sir.
Please write below this. Isotropic radiator is nothing but a point source which radiates in equal intensity in all directions. See, just now you read about what is known as a far field region and the near field region, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now this point source is a unique thing what we are studying right now is when you are seeing the antenna from a very far off distance, how it look?
Like a
So what happens if you see a antenna of suppose from 100-kilometer distance?
it resembles point.
So it look like a point. So in point, when it looks like a point, so if you see this is your actual radius r. So from this whole region is your nothing but your what region? Far field region. So in far field region only your observation plane is very far. You got my point? All of Saurav, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
So you have an one small antenna here. Suppose this is your what is your radius distance r. So this is your far field, this region. Okay. Now I am watching this from a very far off distance here. Suppose from here I am observing. So my observation plane is here. So what will this look like for me? What will that look like? This antenna? Yes,
Point.
yes, that will look like a point. So if you see, yes, ma. Okay, you got my point. So all of you got the point about point source. So when you are seeing an antenna from a very far off distance, it appears as a point and it is supposed to radiate with equal intensity in all the direction, which is actually not true. You got my point. So isotropic radiator is nothing but a point source which radiates in equal intensity in all directions. If you see an antenna from a very far distance, it appears as though it is radiating with equal intensity in all the direction. Is it clear for each one of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So point sources are the antennas which are quite far away from us. These antennas, we are observing these antennas at the far field at a very far off point, such a way that you don't know the shape of the antenna. When you do not know the shape of the antenna, it appears as a point source. And these point source act as isotropic radiators. Isotropic radiators means they radiate with equal intensity in all the directions, which is not true in case of a regular antenna. Only when the antenna is considered as a point source, it is assumed that it will radiate with equal intensity in all the direction. Is it clear for each one of you?
Yes, sir.